You ever notice how quick attention can shift the focus? Like, you drop one beat, one video, and suddenly it's you. You become the moment. All eyes are on you. And if you're not careful, what was once your mission to serve so many people now becomes a goal of being seen by millions of people. It happens. I've seen creatives go from being the most humble to hustling for the most likes. And you know what? I'm included in this bunch. And it's not even because we're greedy, but it's because that's literally how dopamine works. That hit makes you feel like this is it. It's literally like a drug. And you know what's crazy? You start chasing that one moment over and over again until your whole identity is trapped inside that one viral moment. So today, I want to talk about it. Not just the highs of dopamine and the virality and all that good stuff, but what that kind of attention does to you when you're not grounded in who you are. So, is going viral a blessing or is it a burden? Let's be honest. Feeling good feels good. We're supposed to enjoy being acknowledged. I mean, what human doesn't? And the idea of millions seeing your work, that's not just a dream, it's a fantasy for a lot of us creatives. We love the fact that somebody can actually relate to something that we put out, especially if we created it. But if you remember the old school arcade games like Streets of Rage, the old school Simpsons game, or even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you knew the feeling when you cleared a wave of enemies without getting hit and you did it fast. You got a whole bunch of points, right? Ding, ding, ding. That is a dopamine rush. In today's world, every post, repost, and fire emoji is another score to your brain. Your brain registers it as progress, like growth, and it's like finally they see me, right? But just like those arcade games, when you don't beat your last high score, when those numbers slow down, you start questioning your skill, your value, your voice. And this flirts with the law of identity. Now, technically, the law of identity just means A is A. A thing is what it is. That works for animals. A dog will always be a dog. A cat will always be a cat. A rat is always going to be a rat, metaphorically and physically. But human beings, we're different. We're always becoming based on our direction in life. So for us, the law of identity hits a lot different. You don't just stay who you are, you become who you believe you are based on what you repeat, what you measure, and what you respond to. If your metric is likes, views, and shares, then your identity rises and falls with your analytics. And when the attention fades, you don't just feel invisible, you start to feel irrelevant. Especially when you've been grinding in silence for years. So when that one video pops off, it feels like God is saying go. And trust me, I get it. You see people getting the collabs, the brand deals, the whole nine. And you're just like, Lord, when is it my turn? But here's what nobody talks about. Virality exposes everything. It exposes not just your talent, but it exposes your foundation as well. And when I realized that when priority wasn't just about being seen, but about being prepared, that's when I had to slow down and rebuild. One of the ways I did that, ironically, was getting back to basics, practicing again. And for me, that looked like opening up melodics. Not because I needed more clout, but because I needed more discipline. So just 5, 10 minutes, or shoot, even 15 to 30 minutes a day on the pads, or even on the keys, was enough for me to get myself back in rhythm. It brought me back to what I loved before the pressure. So if you're trying to sharpen your gift and build your foundation, hit the link in the description. I got you on a discount. Someone once said, if you live for their applause, you'll die at their rejection. The first cost creators pay after going viral, it's not their schedule, it's not even their creativity, it's their perception of themselves. The shift from being a creative to a performer. And we don't even know this is happening. So when the numbers roll in, that customer becomes the algorithm, the audience, the applause. And then here comes the pressure. Can I follow this up? Can I stay in the spotlight? Can I stay relevant? And what started as creative freedom slowly becomes a success prison. You get into money, but you're chained to what they said you have to do. And who wants to live that way? Think about it. Do the actors and artists in Hollywood really seem out of touch when you look at it from this angle? Not endorsing everything Kanye does, but when you break it down, a lot of it is just basic human behavior. All those tweets, all those crash outs, is just a cry for attention. Is when you have so much attention and it is drops dramatically, most people will do whatever it takes to try to get that much attention back, even if it means acting immorally. Listen, man, that craving to be seen, that pain of being misunderstood, and that weight of never knowing who actually cares really starts to hit heavy, especially if we go back to our old video game example when your high score is not hitting like it used to. What worked today won't always work tomorrow. And that's how you become a one trick pony. And that's the second cause. You shrink yourself to fit the expectations of others. And let's be honest, who wants that? I'll tell you, people who are trying to protect a lifestyle attention paid for. Is that you? Because here's the truth. Success often, not always, but often feels lonely. You start questioning every DM, every collab request. You don't know who's for you. You only know they see you. And listen, God never created you to be a brand first. You was created to be a person first, a son, a daughter. So what do you do when you've got all the attention, but you're burnt out from performing? Well, first, you rest. I find it fascinating that God created the earth in 6 days and rested on the seventh. Yet somehow we think we can outdo God and say no days off. Listen, I'm not judging because I get it. I've been there. There are seasons of hustle. So I'm not going to discount seasons of hustles where you have to work both days on the weekends. You have to work nights, you have to work holidays. There's seasons for that. That's not an everyday thing. When I say there's seasons for that, there's literally moments in your life where you may do that. But that's not supposed to be your lifestyle forever. Rest needs to be just as foundational as God creating the heavens and the earth to you. And here's the truth. You're not going to get any clout, applause, or likes for resting. In fact, some people are going to leave. Good. Let them. And when rest is done, now you can build. Build that hype train. Pick up the ones who are meant to be on board. And don't worry, I got you, because you're probably asking, well, how do I do that, Avidan? You do that by learning about the people riding with you and create a destination for them. What are their pain points? What are they worried about? What keeps them up at night? All right, create a destination for them so they can get to paradise. You build a train to paradise instead of wanting someone to get you to paradise. So for me, that meant returning back to the secret place. That meant practicing when nobody was watching. That meant reading books when I wanted to play video games and binge on anime. I had to set boundaries to be free from the stuff that was leading me to burnout and destruction. And you can do this too. Because to impact and to impress are two completely different roads. One is wide and the other is narrow. And sometimes being faithful means you won't be relevant to the masses. But the few you do impact, they'll change the world for billions. None of us were created to chase moments. And we do it anyway. That's just a human experience. And honestly, if you're only thinking about who's watching you right now, you're missing who's coming after you. I actually touched on this in a previous video where Lupe Fiasco is in an interview and he touches on hip hop being respected as much as fine art. he is paving the way, because if you go by the charts, he's not somebody who is top of the charts talked about right now. But he's paving the way for a legacy that you can't even count. You would not be able to count, because these will be courses that will be placed in even long after he leaves. Foundation that is set long after he is gone. He is setting things up for hip hop to be respected as art for the long run. If you want to know more about that video, check it out right here. Let me know what you think over there.